To clean and sanitize the Vessi Fermenter, one of the first things we need to do is make sure that the bottom of the unit, you have the 2-inch end cap, the gasket, and the tri-clamp finger tight to make sure that the unit can hold liquids. With the bottom port now closed, the next step is to prepare 2 gallons of brewer's detergent and have that in a bucket. And then the next step is to remove the top cap, the 8-inch stainless steel top cap. And you do that by loosening the tri-clamp fitting, lifting the end cap or the top cap, as well as the gasket. And you can take all 3 parts and drop them into the bucket of the detergent solution. Okay, our next step is to pour 2 quarts, 64 ounces of prepared brewer's detergent into the Vessi. And with a non-scratch pad, we can go on the inside and start the process of removing any solids or any materials, any surfaces that need to be cleaned. And as a reminder, what we want to say here is that you should only use a non-scratch pad. If you use the type of pad that scratches, the inside of the fermenter is a polished steel, highly polished stainless steel, and it will etch and thus void the warranty of the unit. Okay, the next thing we need to do is remove the bottom 2-inch cap and release the contents into the collection pan. As a tip, what I'd like to do is lift the pan up a little closer as I remove the tri-clamp to minimize splashing. Okay, with that removed, we want to do 2 things. What we want to do next is to make sure we look on the inside and make sure that all the solids have been removed. And if they have not been, then use additional rinse water and scrub until that is accomplished. The last thing you want to do is use your sponge again and going to the bottom and making sure that the groove in the bottom of the 2-inch tri-clamp fitting is all clean and free of any fermentation solids. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is take the 2-inch tri-clamp, the 2-inch end cap and gasket. We're going to put them back into our cleaning solution. We're going to scrub them and make sure that they're clean. And then we're going to replace them back to the bottom of the unit. And this time make sure that it's essentially finger tight. And then the next step is to take the collection pan and basically remove the contents and rinse it clean. After cleaning the inside surface of the vessel, it's time to move on and clean the dispensing lines. We start once again by filling a 2-quart container with prepared brewer's detergent solution, and it also helps to fill a smaller bottle like this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the liquid injection system cap. We're going to set that aside. Then we're going to take the brewer's detergent solution with a small bottle, and we are going to fill that reservoir until it slightly overflows. This detergent will hold a few ounces of liquid. So there it is, we have filled it. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to let this solution soak inside the liquid injection system reservoir for about 15 minutes. While we're doing that, we can move on and do some of the other steps in the cleaning process. Add the brewer's detergent into the vessel. And then use the 90-degree elbow bottle full of detergent and squirt into the CO2 injection port located here in the throat of the vessel. And then we'll use a cleaning brush to go in and clean out the port real well. Earlier we had placed the 8-inch top cap, the clamp fitting and the gasket into a solution of detergent. We are now taking those out. We are using our non-scratch sponge to clean any deposits as needed. And once that is done, we place them into a clean water solution so we can rinse them off of the detergent. Once that is done, we can now replace all those parts on top of the Vessi Fermenter and Dispenser unit. We start out by placing the gasket, ensuring that it goes into the provided groove. On top of that, we are placing the 8-inch top cap, and then we're finishing things off by using the clamp to complete the assembly. And there it is. Place the cap in the brewer's detergent solution for about 1 minute. And once this is done and clean, replace it onto the liquid injection system port. And then you're going finger tight on that as well. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the faucet handle is in the off position. That means all the way back. And once we do that, we're going to go to the pressure valve and we're going to turn it to the pressurized vessel position until our pressure gauge reads 10 psi. Once we reach the 10 psi pressure, then we're going to go ahead and return the valve to the off position. And okay, we're now at 10 psi. I'm going to go ahead and turn the valve back to the off position, which is the straight up and down vertical position. This has now pressurized our lines and we can clean them. All right, the next step in the process in cleaning the line is to insert this into the beverage port in the unit. But be careful, because as soon as you do that, you're going to start dispensing cleaning solution through this hose. So it's a good idea to have a handy container nearby, and it can immediately start catching the runoff. So what I would do is place that container here, then stick the neck of that in here while I push firmly into the beverage port. That starts the flow of the detergent solution back into our container, as you can see. Once we let it run for a few seconds, the next thing we're going to do is going to push down on this gray button while at the same time pulling out the hose, and that stops the flow. And that has also just cleaned our line. All right, our next step is to clean the actual beer line going into the faucet itself. So we place our container underneath the tap and we open and close that for a few seconds. We actuate it back and forth, and that ensures that the cleaning solution goes through all the inside parts of the faucet itself. If you're using a different manufacturer's faucet, you may want to consult their instructions about how to go about cleaning the inside parts. All right, so after we do that for a few seconds, we're going to go ahead and close it off and leave it off. And we recommend that you probably leave that soak for about 15 minutes. Next, we're going to turn the three-way knob to the right to the position to flush the liquid injection system. This should take about 2 to 3 seconds, and you'll hear some bubbling inside the vessel while that happens. Once that happens, you return the knob back to the vertical off position. So the next thing to do now is to repeat all the steps we took in cleaning the vessel and the lines, but this time do it with warm rinse water to just remove any remaining residue of the dispenser. So pour the warm rinse water into the vessel, and again repeat the processes we already took for cleaning. Now, the one thing to remember is that during the rinsing process, we no longer need to wait for the soak times that we had during the cleaning steps. This time you can simply go from one step to the next as you finish each step. Now we're ready to do our sanitation of the Vessi before brew day. And remember, you cannot sanitize what is not already clean. So hopefully you have already gone through the cleaning processes at this point, and now we're ready to sanitize an already squeaky clean Vessi and then go on with our fermentation process. So the first thing we'll do is we'll take our 90-degree bottle and fill that with sanitizing solution. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the tri-clamp. We're going to remove the 8-inch stainless steel cap, and we're going to remove the gasket. We are going to place them into our sanitizing solution that we have the sediment removal system components already soaking in. Our next step is going to remove the liquid injection system cap. We're going to use our squeeze bottle, and we're going to inject some sanitizer into the reservoir. until it slightly overflows. Okay. At this point, we're also going to take the liquid injection system cap. We're going to soak that into our sanitizing solution as well. The soak time will depend on the sanitizer manufacturer's recommendations, so please read those and do it accordingly. Once sanitized, we will take that cap and we will put it back into the liquid injection system reservoir, and we will take it down to finger tight. Refill the squeeze bottle with fresh sanitizing solution if you need to, and then make sure that you coat the inside of the vessel real well, all the surfaces, including the neck and including the top groove. And again, all the surfaces must be coated well. And don't forget to squeeze some of the sanitizing solution into the CO2 port in the back of the neck of the unit. And then once you're done with that, you can take the remaining sanitizing solution and simply pour it into the Vessi. Now remove the 8-inch stainless steel cap, the gasket, and the tri-clamp from the sanitizing solution and replace on top of the unit. And once again, ensure that the gasket fits inside the groove provided. Then you place the lid on top, make sure that is properly seated into the gasket, and then finally replace the clamp itself. All right, at this point, you basically repeat all of the cleaning processes we went through before for the vessel and the dispensing lines to thoroughly sanitize the unit. And remember, follow the sanitizer manufacturer's recommendations for soak times to ensure that the sanitizer does the job properly.